What's up? Firefang92 once again for News of the Week. Uh, Apologies. Still my face. Still not the cards. Sorry. Apology number 2. Big week. Uh, what happened is the full set dropped. And the full set Sovereign Star Dragon. And there was a lot of things we didn't know about. So, kind of leaves me with a lot of stuff to cover. What I'm going to do is, after I'm done with these apologies, I'm going to give myself a strict 20-minute limit and just talk about everything I can that I find important. Obviously, I'm not going to go over like, oh, this clan got a 12k attacker, that clan got a 10k booster. Dark Regulars and Quackero. And if I miss anything that you find important, as always, the cards are just on the wiki, and I guess like Freedom Duo and whatever. If you want to look them up on your own time, if you want to hear me talk about them, go ahead and leave a comment below, and I might do a second News of the Week video. And apologies to Bermuda players. I think I'm going to spend the whole time talking about the Sovereign Star Dragon. You did get a couple cards revealed this week. Basically, another when something's bounced, Counterblast, give it 5k. And the new Harmony skill, which still isn't fully revealed and seems like just a more restricted timing on effects. So, fuck that. Okay, so going to start talking about Sovereign Star Dragon now. And I'm going to be clicking around a lot because I don't have these in like a document like I usually would because there's just too many cards. And it would be too small for me to read on camera. So I know the first thing that we definitely have to talk about is Ambush Stealth Dragon, Hamura Rider Dragon, or Hamura Raider, I'm not sure. Who knows, they may change it when it comes to English anyway. What he does is he's a stride, act, Counterblast 2, G Persona. Then if there are... then you bounce up to 3 of your rear guards with the same name. And if you did bounce 3, then he gets Drive -1 and the effect that he can restand after he attacks. So, Murder Raider, I was right. That's a really great card. As anyone who's been using Victor Kaiser can attest to, these restanding G units are super aggressive, and that's great. Especially in Murakumo, where your aggression is sort of subpar anyway, and you're mostly a defensive clan. Actually, okay, so... And he sends back from field. So that's tremendous, because it's far less restrictive than sending from hand, and you keep cards in your hand for what's about to be your defensive turn. And that's great. Little bit awkward, because you have to attack with your rear guards first, because he bounces when he attacks. So... And you will lose your booster, so you can't attack unboosted, then attack boosted. You have to attack boosted, then attack unboosted. So as far as restanders go, he could be better, but it's really great because it's... and another thing, when you combo him with the Break Stride, and you go ahead and clone your Vanguard booster, that turns this effect into a plus. So that's really great, because those cards were going to go back anyway. So you've just plussed off of this effect with the extra drive chats. So he's tremendous in combination with the Break Stride. Even without the Break Stride, you still have like Lake Fiend or whatever it is. I don't think he's enough to bring Murakumo up to top tier, unfortunately. But they should be a fun side deck. The next card I'm going to talk about is Sweet Predator. DI grade 3 single R. And she's terrific. Gen break 1 Vanguard Rearguard. When a card is put into your soul during the main phase, she gains 3k. So we have another Doreen. She's fantastic, especially because that just means that, I'm going to be honest, I think Dark Irregular's got the best support in the entire booster set. And we really do have a solid chance of making the meta. I know I'm a bit biased. Argue with me if you want. But that's great. It's really great. Dragon Knight Janet. Kagero version of the Heart Thump Worker. Critical trigger, obviously. Send it to the deck, draw a card, give your Vanguard 5k when it attacks. I'm not a big fan of those, but I just thought I should mention them. All the clans got the standard G-Perfect, so unfortunately we didn't see anything like Nemen clones. I know I would have appreciated it in Dark Irregulars, but G-Perfect's still better than No Perfect. Moving on. Heroic Saga Dragon. That's an interesting card. G break 1. When it attacks, your opponent can retire a card. If they do not retire a card, he gets the effect that when he attacks, if your opponent only guards with one card, he can pop a card in the Guardian Circle. And then if it's a perfect guard, the perfect guard doesn't apply. It's very nice. And Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, when it's placed on Vanguard, retire grade 1 or less. It's nice. But nah. I mean, it's an R-Boss. What do you want? It basically just means that when he attacks alone, your opponent has to go -1, be it by guarding with 2 cards or by just popping something on the field. He's basically just a better alternate ride option than Double Perish, who's kind of meh as well. Star Cradle Stellar Maker. Link Joker grade 3R. She can, I believe, unlock 2 cards to get 3k in a crit, and Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 when she's placed on Vanguard. Lock one of your opponent's back row, and nope, just your opponent's back row. Yeah, G break 1, when this unit attacks Vanguard, you may choose up to 2 lock cards and unlock them. Then if you unlock 2, she gets 3k in a crit. Another very bland sort of backup boss. The crit is interesting, especially in Link Joker. They don't have many of those, so you might see people trying to play her in aggressive decks. I've got nothing against that. It's a perfectly good card, so why the hell not? Rising Lionette, new Gold Paladin starter. What he does is Gen break 1 when something is called, I believe, Counterblast, and put him into the soul, and then that thing gets 5k, and the effect that if it hits, look it up to the top 3 cards and Superior Call something. So it basically turns everything into a everything that you Superior Call into, well, one thing that you Superior Call into a Vivian. Good starter, good starter. Obviously, Liberators won't play it because between the whole deal with Guido's great, and Trumpeteer, and the Coronagal, like their starter space is already hotly debated. They don't need a new option. Duke can't play it, he's for Gurgoit if you just want to play pure Gurgoit, but I don't think pure Gurgoit is really going to exist. because he doesn't really have... He doesn't have any aggressive presence because he didn't get a proper aggressive stride. So you need something aggressive to either finish with or start with. I would suggest Duke, if I'm being honest. And again, I'm biased. Peeping Rabbit. Gold Paladin draw trigger, no effect. I mentioned this because it is entirely inappropriate. Do not look it up around your parents. Shouldn't have mentioned him. Gigantic Ringer. Your Gold Paladin effect stand. I'll try to go over all the effect stands if I can. G-Break 1. Put it on top of your deck when another unit is superior called from your deck. Shuffle your deck, draw a card, and give the called unit 5k. Not bad at all, especially in combination with the starter and things like Vivian, Powell, and whatnot. You know, it's another one of those standard effect stands. The effect is really great, but only if you can find the space for it. Let's see. What else needs to be covered? Oh, the Murakumo secondary stride. Gotta talk about that. Stealth Fiend Ushimitsu Train. He's the Murakumo secondary stride, and he's a train! Yay! When this unit attack hits a vanguard, choose one of your rear guards, search for up to 2 cards with the same name, call them to separate rear guard, shuffle your deck, and then at the end of turn, put them on the bottom. He's kind of useless with the break stride because that's too much field clogging to be calling 2 things. It doesn't say open, so I guess you can just use them for standard extra attacks. Not much to say about him. He's an Arc Stride, again. What do you want? Chain Sickle, Stealth Rogue, Onifundo. I'm going to try to cover all the starters as well. G-Break 1, Soul Blast 1, and return this unit to the hand. That's part of the cost, not the effect. Interesting. Anyway, at the beginning of your main phase, look at up to 3 cards from your deck, search for up to 1, call it to rear guard, then at the end of the turn, put that card back in the deck. And that's a fantastic starter. Number 1, it's Soul Blasts, which makes it useful in the Magatsu deck. Number 2, it returns itself to hand, so you can use it again, or else just use it as shield, and it's a 10k shield because it's grade 0, which is fantastic. And number 3, easily gets you into something that you can probably like try to clone or something, and then send back with your Homura, making it a +2. So, really fantastic card there. Really great starter. Again, I still don't think Murakumo has enough punch to really make it into the meta. But, you know, that's nice. Spawn of the Spiral Nebula. I actually like this a lot better than the trial deck starter, the Neon Messiah, because Neon can really only search out Amnesty, and you've got Fate Dealer for that anyway. G-Break 1, put it into Soul. Choose one of your rear guards and lock it, and choose one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it. So, useful with the Amnesty, or it just gets you a lock for the price of a lock, which isn't really that bad, because you can lock something that's maybe not so important to you and something that's really important to your opponent. Stealth Fiend Emissary Crow. This is an interesting one. 8k grade 2 Murakumo. When it intercepts, you can call up to 3 Emissary Crows from your deck to the Guardian Circle, and then at the end of the turn, then at the end of that battle, put them on the bottom of the deck. So it intercepts for 20k. Kinda interesting. It again makes Murakumo the clan that has the most ways to get around guard restrictions and stuff, because you still have your Shirayuki, and now you can play this with Shirayuki. Haha, I guard for 40,000 despite not being able to guard with guard 1 or higher. Haha. Or grade 0s. Whatever. I don't care. I'm Murakumo. So yeah, I mean, I really predict Gold Paladin's going to take that place as the anti-meta guarding clan, because it just has more mechanics to sort of plus itself, and despite not having an aggressive stride, it does have a better aggressive presence because of all the old bosses. But Murakumo's another way to go. It's probably going to be a lot cheaper to play Murakumo, so you can budget an anti-meta deck. That's nice. Killing Dollmaster, she can move herself into the soul at the beginning of the main phase to Soul Charge 2. Basically gives you 3 boosts to your Doreen and Sweet Predator. Werebat Ordinans, something. Dark Irregular starter. Counterblast 1, G-Break 1, put it into the Soul Charge 2, and if the number of cards in Soul is 6 or more, draw a card. So, free draw. Yay! Yeah, the main reason I like Dark Irregular starters that go away is because I almost always want Doreen back there. So, something that you can just conveniently put away and get a card back out of it is pretty nice. And 2 boosts to your Doreens and Sweet Predators, assuming none of them are going in the spot the Werebat's in. Okay, let's see. How much time do I have left? 4 minutes. Gonna try to cover all the stand triggers in 4 minutes. Monochrome of Nightmare Land. Put them into Soul Charge 2 if there's 6 or more in Soul. Draw a card 10 or more in Soul. Unflip. The unflip is worthless. Don't even consider it for that. The draw card's kind of nice, but stands do not go, and Dark Irregulars don't use it. Stealth Dragon Hidden Scroll, Murakumo. I think also Genbreak 1. Yeah, Genbreak 1. Put him on the deck. Choose one of your rear guards other than himself, and search for 2 cards. Search for up to 2 cards with the same name as a unit selected on your rear guard and call them separate rear guards. Shuffle your deck, at the end of the turn, put them back on the bottom of the deck. More cloning, great for her Murder Raider. I actually don't know how well stands going. They might go really well. I'm not actually sure of that. So if you want to try it. Cursed Eye Raven is your Shadow Paladin stand. Genbreak 1, rest this unit and put it on the top of your deck, so it's an act, so I'm not entirely sure why the rest is... I guess if something has an effect that rests a rear guard then gets an effect out of it, they don't want you to double plus. But shuffle your deck, look at the top 2 cards of the deck, call them to separate rear guards as rest. I guess it is a Shadow Paladin and not a Gold Paladin. Ha ha ha. Plussing power, pure and simple. And as those units are at rest, they can just be easy sack fodder because you're Shadow Paladin. If your deck is a little bit resource intensive, maybe like Claret or something, it's worth playing it too. But again, Shadow Paladin, I don't think they go great with stands. Again, I'm not entirely certain because we got a Flirtatious Succubus reprint. Just thought I'd work that in there. Woo! On call Soul Charge 1. Let me see. I think I have time for like one more thing. Every clan got the standard stride fodder thing. So, including including Shadow Paladins. So, yeah. Good for you. Your Double Blaster backup boss for Shadow Paladins is a Demon World Castle. And you got a Demon World Castle grade 1 damage adder. So, if you really, really did want to play the Demon World Castle deck, which, come on, you're being silly, you can. The double blaster is sack 1 on attack for 5k and a crit. Sack 1, grade 1. And counterblast 1, soul blast 1 when it's placed on Vanguard. Search your deck for a grade 1 or less, call it to rearguard and shuffle. So, more Swordbreaker abuse. Little bit soul intensive, considering that's 2 soul blasts. But it's not that bad. For a free +2, well, a costed +2. Neutron Star Lady Gunner. I think this is the last thing I'll cover. At Gen Break 1, when she's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you lock one of your rearguards to lock one of your opponent's rearguards. So again, if you can make that a good trade-off, like if you're playing Amnesty or anything, that's a nice card to have as a backup. So if you weren't invested in getting the other card in there for aggressive presence, I think it's definitely worth playing this as a backup, especially to what's his name, Messiah. The Messiah boss, I forgot his name. I think I ran a bit over. Sorry about that. That's everything I could think of from Sovereign Star Dragon. We covered it a bit quickly, so if there's anything more you want to talk about, comments. Firefang92, signing out.